Sam Carter had worked at the airport for almost a decade, but if you asked most travelers, they wouldn't remember his face. He was the guy in the faded blue jumpsuit, loading bags onto carts, guiding suitcases down conveyor belts, and moving through the terminal with a quiet efficiency. He liked it that way. He didn't crave attention or small talk. He just wanted to do his job well and go home. But there was one thing about Sam that stood out if you were paying attention. Clipped. To the brim of his cap was a small silver pin, the eagle and shield of the 82nd Airborne Division. Most people never noticed it. The few who did usually just nodded in respect and moved on. One Thursday afternoon, as the airport buzzed with the usual chaos boarding calls, rolling suitcases, families rushing to make their flights, a young TSA agent named Riley noticed the pin as Sam passed through the security area. She stopped him with a wave. "Hey, sir, hold up a second." Sam paused, a little surprised. TSA agents rarely spoke to him unless there was a lost bag or a security issue. Riley pointed to his cap. "That's the 82nd Airborne, right?" Sam nodded, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Yes, ma'am. Been a long time. But yeah, my uncle served with the 82nd, Riley said, her voice warm. He always said it was the toughest, proudest group he ever knew. Sam's eyes softened. It was something, all right. Their conversation caught the attention of a nearby gate agent, who wandered over. "You were airborne?" he asked. His voice a mix of surprise and respect. Sam nodded again, feeling a little self-conscious as more people gathered. "Yeah. Did a few jumps back in the day?" Within minutes, word started to spread. Other TSA agents and airport staff drifted over. Even a few passengers, curious about the growing crowd, stopped to listen. Riley asked Sam about his service, about the jumps, about what it meant to be part of the 82nd. Sam answered honestly, his voice steady but humble. He talked about the training, the fear, the brotherhood, and the pride that came with wearing the eagle pin. One of the baggage handlers, a young guy named Luis, listened with wide eyes. "I never knew you did all that, Sam. Why didn't you?" "Ever say anything?" Sam shrugged. "Didn't seem important." "I just do my job." But the crowd didn't see it that way. Someone snapped a photo. Another person called over the airport manager, who asked if Sam would be willing to share his story at the upcoming Veterans Day event. Sam hesitated, but Riley gave him an encouraging nod. "You should. People need to hear it." The next week, Sam found himself standing in front of a microphone in the main terminal. The usual airport noise faded as he began to speak. "Most of you know me as the guy who loads your bags or waves you onto the plane. But before I wore this jumpsuit, I wore a different uniform. I was a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division." He paused, letting the words settle. "I jumped out of planes in the dead of night, landed in places most people have only seen in movies. I was scared every single time, but I did it because I had a team that counted on me, and I counted on them." Sam glanced at the faces in the crowd, coworkers, travelers, even a few old veterans who'd come just to hear him speak. "I lost friends over there. Brave people. Coming home wasn't easy. For a long time, I tried to blend in, to be just another face in the crowd. But you never really leave that part of yourself behind. It shapes who you are every single day." He smiled, voice steady now. "I'm proud of my service, but I'm even prouder to be part of this airport family. Every day, I see teamwork, dedication, and kindness qualities that remind me of the best parts of my time in the service. So thank you for letting me serve again in a different way." The applause was thunderous. People lined up to shake his hand, thank him, and share their own stories. Some travelers even missed their flights just to talk with him a little longer. After the ceremony, airport management presented Sam with a plaque honoring his service, both in the military and at the airport. They set up a small display near the entrance, featuring his story, his 82nd Airborne bin, and photos from his time in the service. Things changed after that. Sam was still the same humble, hard-working man, but now people saw him for who he really was, a quiet hero, whose courage and humility inspired everyone around him. Lee started spending more time with Sam, asking about leadership, about dealing with fear, about how to make a difference, even in a small job. Sam shared his wisdom, always ending with, "It's not about the uniform you wear, but the heart you bring to the work." One evening, as they watched a plane take off into the sunset, Luis turned to Sam and said, "I want to be like you someday." Sam smiled, placing a hand on Luis's shoulder. "Just be the best version of yourself. That's all anyone can ask." As the years went by, Sam continued to work at the airport, mentoring new hires, volunteering at veterans events, and quietly making the world a better place, one bag, one story, one moment at a time. And every morning, as he put on his cap and pinned on the 82nd Airborne Eagle, he remembered the lesson that had carried him through war, homecoming, and a lifetime of service. Sometimes, the greatest heroes are the ones who never ask to be seen. The weeks after the Veterans Day ceremony brought a new energy to Sam's life. He was still up before dawn, still wrestling suitcases and guiding carts down the busy ramps, but now he was greeted by name. TSA agents, gate staff, and even frequent flyers would stop to say hello or thank him for his service. Some would ask about the 82nd Airborne, and Sam found himself sharing stories, sometimes funny, sometimes hard over coffee in the break room, or while waiting for a delayed flight to land. Luis, the young handler, became almost like a shadow. He'd ask Sam about everything: how to handle tough days, how to stay calm when things got hectic, how to be a leader even if you weren't the boss. Sam would answer with a mix of humor and hard-earned wisdom. "You don't have to be loud to be respected," he'd say. "Just show up, do your job right, and treat people well. That's what sticks." One chilly morning, Sam was guiding a group of new hires through the baggage area. He stopped by a wall where old photos of airport staff were displayed, faces from decades past, some in black and white, some faded with time. He pointed to a picture of himself, fresh out of the Army, standing with a group of other veterans who'd helped build the airport's reputation for reliability. "That's us, back in the day," Sam said, a note of pride in his voice. "We didn't know much about airports, but we knew about teamwork. That's what made it work." One of the new hires, a young woman named Jasmine, asked, "Did you ever think you'd end up here after all you went through?" Sam chuckled. "Not in a million years. But you learn that life isn't about where you land, it's about what you do when you get there." Word about Sam's story continued to spread. A local news crew came to interview him, and soon after, a story about the airport's quiet hero aired on the evening news. Travelers recognized him from the segment and would stop to shake his hand or ask for a photo. Sam always obliged, but he never let it go to his head. One afternoon, a group of high school students on a field trip stopped Sam near the baggage claim. Their teacher explained that they were learning about American history, and one of the kids asked what it felt like to serve in the military. Sam knelt down to their level and said, "Serving means looking out for the person next to you, even when it's tough. It means being part of something bigger than yourself. And you don't have to wear a uniform to do that. You can do it right here, right now, just by being kind and helping out." The students left inspired, and their teacher later emailed Sam to say how much his words had meant to them. As the seasons changed, so did the airport. New faces joined the team, old friends retired, and Sam found himself reflecting more often on the journey that had brought him here. He started keeping a small notebook in his locker, jotting down memories, lessons, and stories, some for himself, some for Luis, and some for anyone who might need them in the future. One evening, as Sam walked out to the parking lot at the end of his shift, he paused to watch a plane lift off into the sunset. The sky was painted in streaks of orange and purple, and for a moment, Sam felt the same mix of fear and excitement he'd known as a young paratrooper, waiting for the jump light to turn green. He smiled to himself, knowing that while his days of leaping from planes were long behind him, he was still part of something important. He was still making a difference, one small act at a time. And as he got into his truck and drove home, Sam Carter knew that sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that echo the longest. The holidays brought a special kind of bustle to the airport. Decorations hung from the rafters, carolers sang in the terminals, and travelers hurried home to see family. For Sam, it was always a bittersweet season. He remembered Christmases spent overseas, the camaraderie of his unit, the ache of missing loved ones. But this year felt different. He felt seen, valued, not just by his coworkers, but by the entire airport community. One snowy December morning, airport management surprised Sam with a ceremony in the staff lounge. Luis had organized it, gathering the team and even inviting a few of Sam's old Army buddies who now lived nearby. There was coffee, cake, and a giant card signed by dozens of staff. The airport director gave a short speech about service, humility, and the power of quiet leadership. Luis handed Sam a small wrapped box. Inside was a custom plaque. To Sam Carter for your service in the 82nd Airborne and your years of dedication. To this airport family, you remind us every day that true heroes walk among us. Sam was speechless. He blinked back tears as his old Army friends clapped him on the back and the younger staff cheered. Even Riley, the TSA agent who'd first noticed his pin, stopped by to thank him again. You changed the way I see people here, Sam. You made me look for the stories behind the uniforms. Later, as the lounge emptied out, Sam sat with Lise and his Army buddies. They swapped stories, some funny, some somber about jumps gone wrong, pranks in the barracks, and the friends they'd lost. Luis listened intently, soaking up every word. Did you ever regret it? Luis asked quietly, after the others had left. Sam shook his head. Not a day. It was hard, but I'd do it all again. What matters is what you do with the time you're given, and who you help along the way. That winter, Sam started volunteering at the local VA hospital, helping other veterans adjust to civilian life. He'd sit with them, listen to their stories, and offer the same quiet encouragement that had helped him. Sometimes he'd bring Lise along, showing him the importance of giving back. Spring arrived, and with it, new faces at the airport. Sam became a mentor to more new hires, teaching them not just how to load bags, but how to treat people with respect. He'd tell them, everyone you meet is carrying something you can't see. A little kindness goes a long way. One day, a young woman named Mia joined the team. She was shy at first, but Sam took her under his wing. When she struggled, he reminded her, you don't have to be perfect. Just keep showing up, keep trying. That's what matters. Mia flourished, and soon she was helping others, passing on the lessons she'd learned from Sam. The sense of family at the airport grew stronger, and Sam felt a quiet pride watching the next generation step up. As the years passed, Sam's story became part of airport lore. New hires heard about the day a TSA agent noticed a pin and changed everything. Travelers would sometimes stop by the staff lounge just to say hello. And every Veterans Day, Sam would stand on the stage, his 82nd Airborne pin gleaming, and remind everyone that heroism wasn't about medals or headlines. It was about showing up, doing your best, and lifting others up along the way. One summer evening, as Sam watched a plane disappear into the sunset, Louise joined him on the tarmac. You? No, Sam. You taught me more than anyone else ever has, he said. Not just about work, but about life. Sam smiled, feeling the weight of years and memories, but also a deep, abiding peace. That's all any of us can hope for, kid. To leave things a little better than we found them. And as the lights of the airport twinkled against the night sky, Sam Carter knew he had done just that.